Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. We are over here at the edge of the wastelands. I've been working on a little project in between episodes. It's something that a lot of people have been suggesting in the comments for our station that we've been working on, and it's actually something I planned on doing all along, and I've been working away, and I've just had a look over this hill and there is a fantastic view from up here, so let's have a little bit of a look. That's right, I've been making a platform over there. Some of you are now thinking, aha, I know exactly what you're going to be doing this episode. So we should go over there and I'll explain what this is for. However, on the way over there we should encounter some mobs, because this thing is kind of like a little bit of a mob spawner as well. There's now a load of dark area on the surface, and I bet you, look, we got a zombie. I can see some things over in the distance. You know, normally when I come over here there's a whole bunch of them, but today it seems like there's not a lot under here. Oh, there's a spider. Saw its eyes at the last minute. Let's pop up top and I'll talk about what exactly this is. It is going to be a map that has things that we want on it. That will make a lot more sense in a second. Let's just grab this map right here. So this is a 128 by 128 area. That I do believe is the default size of a map, and it's also the smallest one. So what I've been doing is half slabbing this so we can have a map where we can build things to appear on that map. So let's have a look. It's been a while since I last updated this. As you can see, I've placed slabs across all of that place right there, and on reflection, you know, the grey colour isn't the most attractive of things for this back setting, I guess, and one of the things I maybe could have done was gone around and removed all of the grass and just covered the whole thing over with dirt and let it change to grass, but I decided to half slab it and I think it looks alright. But what's more important is what we're actually going to be putting on this map. We're going to be putting in the different destinations that are on the station. So at the top of this we're going to have something that says Hermit Underground. Oh yeah, that's what we're going to call it, by the way. I saw that suggestion on the previous episode, and I thought, you know what, I love the London Underground. It's always great when you go to London and get to go around. That sounded a bit weird then as I said it. You know, the Underground is just a train system, but it's got a little bit of charm and character. That would probably make more sense if you've used the Underway a lot. But anyway, we're going to call it the Hermit Underground. Did I just call it the Underway? I think I did. And we're going to put all of the stations on here. So what it means is if we go over to this corner, I'm going to start placing down blocks. And you know what, I didn't bring anything with me to demonstrate this, which was a little bit silly. But we can place down blocks and then they're going to appear as pixels on here. So we can, you know, create some, basically an image for this. You know, you could go into super detail and do something really fancy and crazy, but I'm just going to keep it simple. We're going to write Hermit Underground at the top, and then we're going to list all of the stations and have a color code to tell you, you know, which station is what color. We're going to list all of those down on here, and then we can put it in an item frame in each of the stations, and it'll tell you where all the different places are on the line. Now each of the stations at the moment, they do have a left and right where it says this one goes that way and that one goes that way. So if we put all of these stations in order on here, you'll be able to look at the two places and know what area you're in as well. And I think I said I'm going to put the stations on here. I'm actually going to put the name of the areas that they go to, because we're going to be naming some of the stations with individual names, and actually have one for Slipgator's station, and hopefully we'll be able to meet up and do a little bit of recording and name that station, which will be pretty cool. But over the next few episodes what I want to do is name each of the stations. Now I've been walking around and chatting and I actually want to talk a little bit, so I'm just going to grab the slabs and just start slabbing away here, because we need to finish this off so we can start work. And there are a couple of other things I want to talk about. In the last episode we had a bit of a talky one. I mentioned that I was really busy, and the reason why, you now know. We have done Hermitcraft UHC, and I have launched my server with DocM as well. Now, as of right now, the only time that I have to record this, those things haven't happened yet, but yesterday you should have seen the first episode of UHC, and also a video from me and DocM launching the Respawn network, and I really want to talk about each of those things. So what one should we talk about first? I think I want to talk about UHC. Obviously I can't tell you what's happened, but I can tell you that the series is going to be really exciting. I had so much fun playing UHC. You know, I've played it a lot with other people, not for videos, and every time I've really enjoyed it, and to play it for a video made it that much more intense, and I think you're all going to really enjoy the series that we have put together. and I think we'll probably do a second series at some point in the future. I mean, we enjoyed it that much, so if you didn't see it, be sure to go and check it out. It was a lot of fun. We also used the shrinking map as well, so in 1.8 you can use the world border, and we set it up so that over the period of 2 hours it would slowly shrink in towards the middle, and it actually created some really intense moments where the world border, you know, was closing in on people. But I'm not going to give much more away than that, but be sure to check that series out. It is going to be really enjoyable, I'm sure of it. And yeah, only one episode has gone out so far. I'm kind of talking about it. I know everything that happens, we all do, because it's over for us, and I don't want to give anything away. Yeah. So the other thing that happened yesterday was the server launch. 2 crazy big events on one day. It just happened to time up like that. And of course, as I said, I'm recording this before these things have actually happened. So hopefully everything went well there. You know, with a lot of people joining the server all at once, there is a chance that it could, you know, run into some problems, which is exactly what we are expecting. Although we're doing everything to avoid those at all costs, you know, as you would. So hopefully everything with that went well. That is an enormous project. You know, I was working on XPD for a long time, and that didn't really work out. And then we started the Respawn Network project, and then that took a huge amount of time as well. So all these past few months you've been watching videos from me, I've been really worn out with the amount of work that I had to do to, you know, make all of that happen. And it wasn't just me, there were tons of people involved in the project who've been working their butts off to get Respawn Network online, and it's been really crazy, and it's been taking away a lot of time from playing vanilla. I really like playing this game, but one of the things I've missed is the freedom to just play because you want to. And you know, time goes by really quickly these days, and it feels like I'm always, you know, getting ready to record the next episode, and sometimes I'm like, what is it I'm going to be doing next episode? You know, I've got this big list of things that I want to do, but not often does it come too naturally that I'm choosing what I want to do. And I'd like to have that freedom again to just be able to do whatever I feel like, you know, from episode to episode. And so I decided that now that the server is launched, I want to have some fun playing games with all of you on there and enjoy that for a while. And I think I might, you know, miss a couple of episodes of the regular schedule for Hermitcraft while the UHC thing is going on, because it will clash with my schedule, because I do things on a schedule. You know, I try and release at the same time. I try and put out particular types of videos on particular days. I don't think I've missed a Hermitcraft episode for God knows how long, and I think it's just time that I have a little bit of a break. And it's not because I'm bored of vanilla or anything like that. I just think I need a little bit of freedom to take a step back from the relentless videos at the moment, because it feels relentless. It's always, you know, I'm working on something in between working on the server or doing tons of stuff to set up UHC. And actually setting up UHC was really stressful, because there's a whole bunch of people coming onto a server to record, and I'm the guy who's got to set it up and make sure that everything works right on the day. And it did, with one exception. If you've watched the beginning of that episode, what happened was I had a list of the commands I needed to enter, and I'd devised them into an order so that we could start the game correctly. And I think what I did was, instead of copying from my list, I accidentally pasted the previous command that I copied. So when the game was going to start, that's when I was going to stop the sun from moving. No, it was already stopped, and I was going to start it. Except I accidentally pasted the previous command, so the sun wasn't moving for a while. I think iJevin or someone spotted it and they let us know, and then we just moved the time to 6,000. It seemed like we'd been playing for about 6 minutes or something like that, and then I put the world time back on. But it was pretty stressful, but we got through it. And all those things have been taking up my time. You know, UHC, the server, those were the big projects I was talking about in the last episode, and finally we're over it. And I feel like the best thing to do right now is just have a little bit of a break from doing these LP episodes. But of course, this episode we're gonna, you know, do as normal. Although I've been talking a lot, as you can understand, I got a lot that I want to talk about. So I'm making good progress with this, and I'm running low on half slabs. However, the sun is coming up, and I wanted to show you something quickly before all of the zombies start burning. You know, I'm going back and forth here placing loads of half slabs, and while that's happening I'm building up an army of spiders that are following me. And how many have we got here? Like 6, I think I saw, or maybe 4, 5. I don't know, but there's a whole bunch of them under here. And I tell you what, this game has certainly gotten easier over time. You can walk around under here with mobs all over the place, and it's like you're in God mode. Look at this. Loads of them under here. Look at all of that. That's absolutely crazy. Let's bring them out into the sun so we can see them a little more. Oh, hello. Got a little guy chasing us as well. Anyway, I need to head back and get myself more slabs, and then I'll finish slabbing that thing. We will be done soon, but look at this. Got an army of mobs chasing us. And they are all going to get burnt in a second. Let's watch them burn. There we go. Silly zombies. You can't walk at daytime. So we had a little talk about the projects that have been going on. As I'm recording this episode, the amount of work that goes into those things is unbelievable. Much time has passed by in which I have been able to finish half slabbing this place. If we have a look at the map here, you can see it's now all grey. Not the best choice of colours, but it'll do. It'll do. There is no time to turn back and change it all. And by the way, this thing is 128 blocks by 128. I'm not sure if I mentioned that already. That is the same scale as the map. So for every one of these that we have, that is a pixel on here. So I brought with me a selection of colours. We have all of this right here. This is the station colours. So what we're going to have is somewhere on the left side of this, like a block for each station going downwards, and then next to that we'll have the area name for each station. Then at the top, what we're going to do is have Hermit Underground written across the top. I'm going to put all of this in white, and the reason for that is because this grey I think is the darker one, so it's going to stand out a little better than having black on there, I think. Also, I think the white is nice and bright as well, so I guess I've just got to start doing this. I've also brought some red and blue wool as well. I thought what I might do is perhaps surround the Hermit Underground with some sort of colour scheme, and white, red and blue looks good. I think they're the colours that are used on the London Underground as well. So I'll get to work. Got to start placing down these blocks. It's going to be an interesting process. Not done something like this before, but hopefully it will go well. This is very, very cool. I am enjoying this already. I've only placed down a few letters, and I was just looking at it on the map. Doesn't this look so cool? There is also like a shadow effect going on here, which kind of highlights the text a little bit better, and that looks superb. I may have actually made that a little bit too far in. I wasn't too sure. Another thing, placing down just a few of these blocks, it looks a lot bigger on here than it feels like it did to fill the whole thing with slabs, if that makes sense. But it's looking good. The font that I'm using, by the way, is one I actually paid for. It's a professional font to use on my videos, and I just resized it down and pixelated it, and it turned out looking really cool. But I think before I do any more, I'm actually going to move this up into a corner a little bit. We've got to be a bit cautious of space, so I might also want to put, more than just the stations and the areas on here. I might want to put information on how to use the rail and other stuff like that. So I think we're going to move it over here, maybe 3 or 4 blocks. This is so goddamn cool. Look at that. I love it. This is going to look so awesome by the time it's finished. I'm really liking it. That looks really good. And I tell you what, I brought with me 5 stacks of white wool. I'm going to need so much more than that to do this. I'm going to need like 30 stacks at least. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, I've been looking at this now, and I've been thinking about this red and blue and what I wanted to do with it. Originally, I was picturing it having some sort of border that goes around the outside, maybe little breaks of red and blue, and it kind of surrounds it. But then I was thinking, well, that kind of goes closer to the edge, and I think the distance we have from the edge is pretty nice at the moment. So maybe we want to put it somewhere else. Maybe we want to put it over the side of the groundword, have something going on over there. And then after thinking about it, I had an idea which I really like, and I just can't decide which way round I want to do this. I think it's going to look better with more blue going across the whole thing than red. So what we're going to do is put a line of blue going all the way across, and I think this is possible. I've got to do a little bit of calculating before I place the red blocks, but we're going to put the red blocks at the end, and I'm hoping this is going to look good. So come on, a little bit further to go, and we've run out. So a little over the halfway mark there. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Excellent. So that means we can put 1 block there. Then we're going to put 2 or possibly 3. We might come back and change that. So let's see what it looks like. Now we've got... Yeah, I placed 4. Supposed to have 3. Placed 4. Okay. And then 4 on that one. 5 on this one. And then I guess we would make it like that. Oh, 1 less. So it lines up. And then let's have a look at what that looks like. Oh, it's going to have to be longer, I can tell already. Or maybe not. That actually looks really cool, I think. And I think maybe it needs a little bit of space after the D as well. Like you got a space between the T and the U. It needs a tad more space. I think I'm going to add a little bit of space and also make it longer and see what it looks like that as well. So you cannot argue with me, that looks absolutely amazing. Hermit Underground. I like it. We have made a really nice start to this. The next thing that we need to do is put in all of the different areas that the stations go to. And I was giving it some thought. I was trying to think, what one's going to be in the middle? Because if we put that in the middle of the area we have to build on, then we can add extra stations at either end. However, after giving it some thought, I don't think there's any other areas or places to go to beyond TFC's base. And then in the opposite direction, there's quite a lot of space to be expanded to. There's the legal district, there's this area where we might want to build some games, and also Schism's base over there. So I've got a feeling that's going to be expanded over time, possibly. So we will actually start off with the bottom corner and do TFC's area. I think the first two stations are actually going to be named just after those guys. So we've got Slipgator, we've got TFC, and then going up the line we'll have the horse area, which we came up with a name for last episode, which I've already managed to forget. I will of course go back and watch the episode and figure that stuff out. I am terribly forgetful sometimes. Please do forgive me, because I have a lot going on all the time and it's quite hard to remember all these different things that I need to. And by the way, I'm just heading back to get some more wool. I've got a feeling I'm going to run out and maybe have to think about where there's some other wool. There might be some over at the community farm by Joe Hills, or maybe I'll have to take some from Mumbo's base again, with his permission of course, but that's what I usually do. I say, hey Mumbo, I need some string, can I go and grab your string and then craft it into wool? And usually he says yes. But anyway, I will stop rambling and go take care of that. I gotta say, I had no idea this would be so much fun. And look at that, that looks amazing. I must have said that so many times now, but it really does look good. Every time I look at it, it's nice and clean. Some good old pixel art. And down the end here, these things are actually supposed to be squares, or at least that's how I pictured them. And when I came over here to place them down, I only had a stack, and 8x8 is 64 a stack, and these are 9 long, so a square being 9x9, it didn't have enough, so I made them nice and slim like that, and I think they look pretty good. TFC's is white because we haven't built his yet, so I've just used some white wool there, and it looks nice. And there's probably going to be more stations above this in the future, probably room for about 3 more I think above there, which is just right, I do believe. And the thing is, I am running out of white wool. This is all I have left. I went round and mustered as much as I could. I got a load from Joe Hills' sheep farm, and I gotta say, these spiders are unbelievably annoying. How many do we have here? We got 1, we got 2, we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I might have counted 1 twice. 8. Ah, yeah, it's really annoying because they're always going to spawn under there and they always just track you. So whenever I'm working on this, it makes a ton of noise. Anyway, the problem that I have right now is that it's late. I don't really have the time to keep shearing, and there's pretty much no other wool I can get at the moment. I spoke to Mumbo. He's low on string, so we can't be pinching any from him. So this means that I need to do some farming, and I think what I might try and do is some overnight farming at the sheep bay and see how much wool we can get from that. So I did an overnight run over here at the sheep farm. Not sure why I called it the sheep bay. I think I'm just getting things muddled in my head again because we've got the shearing bay at the front here. At least that's what I like to call it. But it is morning. I'm a little bit tired right now. I haven't been awake for long. But this is all of the wool that we got from overnight. Now I also tried to calculate roughly how many shears we used. Now each one of these has 238. And I think we used about 10 throughout the night. So that's probably like, from the time I started running this, about 10 hours. So we're using one of those per hour. That's 2,380 shears in total, and the amount of wool we have in here is 4,800. So around 2 for each shear on average, which I think is what it's supposed to be. Those zombies are making noise. They are just mobs everywhere in this game. I was actually expecting to use a lot more shears. I filled this thing all up, and I was a little surprised when I came back in the morning and all of this still had shears in. I thought we would have gone through all of them, but it gives us a good idea of how much wool we can get per hour. And I was thinking perhaps they don't come around quick enough. The way we've got it set up, the sheep, they come down every so often. Maybe it'll be a few more seconds before the next one. Sometimes it's like half a minute. But really what we should be having is a farm where all of the sheep are constantly going past the player. So I think some redesigning here in the future might be in order. I might have to change the way that this farm works, as I don't think that's enough wool really for doing some overnight farming. But we now have enough white wool to go and finish our project. So I'm going to head over there and finish doing all of the words we were putting on that board. So it is now done. Had to get away from that place because of all of those spiders underneath just driving me mad while I was doing this, but there you go. I got commercial and residential the wrong way around, so I had to redo those, and we'll probably be coming back here and making some tweaks and changes in the future because I'm sure there'll probably be some more information I want to display on here. However, at the moment I'm a little bit tired from all of the building and recording I've been doing and just been busy with the server and all kinds of things, and I can't really think of anything else that needs to be on here. So now it is time for us to go all the way back to Hermittown 1.7, grab ourselves some item frames. We also need to clone this map and then put it into those frames so people can see them. So I just came through the portal to leave this place and take the maps over to Hermittown 1.7. There are a whole bunch of chickens. They were all in a little group right as I came through. I am not sure what's going on here. One guess would be that perhaps the gold farm has been running and somehow something is happening with chicken jockeys. I don't know where these guys have come from. It's really strange. So there it is. It kind of looks good, doesn't it? It looks alright. And now I'm thinking, wouldn't it have been cool if we had the same colours here and we continued the texture going across in the background? But that would have been a serious amount of work. And I've got to say, the font is a little difficult to read until you get real close, then it's nice and clear. So possibly doubling the size of these letters would have been better. However, if we were to double all of that, there wouldn't have been much more room on there and it wouldn't have looked so neat and organised. But that is really cool. Also, the colour coding thing. We are at the stables. The station is green. That actually works really well. I like that. It's good. It's good. Anyway, we need to go to the next one, so... Oh, I don't have a minecart. That's brilliant. Another thing, by the way, there's glowstone behind here, so it makes it nice and bright. I put it onto the spruce straight away, and it was a little bit dark, so the glowstone makes a difference there. Where am I going to find myself some iron? I need to go find an ender chest. So, blue for the ribbon. The blue is a little bit purple here, and on the map it is very blue, as you can see. And I did use the clay. I'm pretty sure I used the clay, so we might have to change that because it's not so obvious. However, there isn't another purpley station on here, so it shouldn't be too confusing. So we've installed one at the residential district, and I'm just wondering if maybe this would be better if this is a flat surface and it was one block closer to you, because it's a little bit tricky to read. You have to go right up to read it like that. So I might come back and change that. But anyway, on to the next station. So the commercial district. I just realised something. It says food court and this sign says restaurant area. So I'm going to have to go back and change the signs after all of this as well. I'll probably just do that in between episodes. Anyway, let's go to the last station. So the last one is in place, and I found a bug as well, although it's kind of tricky to recreate. Sometimes when I put a map into an item frame, my fist then appears on top of the map. It looks really strange. However, every time I go to record, it goes back before I capture it. But there we go, we've put them at all of the stations. So unfortunately that is all I have time for this episode. I was hoping to build another station on the line, but I've really run out of time. So I just wanted to recap a couple of things I talked about earlier in the video. If you don't see the next episode of Hermitcraft at the usual time, and maybe even the one after that, don't worry, don't panic, I'm just taking a little bit of a break like I talked about earlier. You know, I'm not bored of the game or anything, but my time has been consumed by a lot of things lately, and I think a little bit of break and free time would probably do me some good. And the other thing we talked about as well was the server. If you didn't see the video, be sure to check it out, and the IP address should be on the screen, so bookmark that thing, come online and check it out, come play some PvP with me and Doc. And yeah, that is pretty much everything for this episode. So let me know what you thought of the whole map project. I think it turned out really, really cool. A lot of you were suggesting that, and I wanted to do the same thing myself, so I know some of you would have enjoyed that. But that is it for this episode, so as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.